likely to get anywhere.
Martha, you don't have to threaten genocide to get Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, we've lost the plot here. The president has lost the plot. The president went in to say that he wanted to free the Iranian people. Now he's talking about destroying 90 million people.
I was speaking with Nazim Mohian, and I've spoken with a lot of Iranian activists who want this.
They want him to threaten to wipe out 91 million people?
I think they understand what
this is.
I don't think anyone's talking about
this. Is not a New York real estate deal. He's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
The commander-in-chief was saying we're going to kill 91.
Yeah. Power plant day. Bridge day. You scared of the pictures? Power plant day. Bridge day. Open the fucking Strait or you'll be living in hell. Censor the satellites. How what we did to your bases. You're losing your mind and you're losing this war. Face it. You tweet like a madman, threatening power plants and bridges. Praise be to Allah. You sound unhinged, you bitch. You want us living in hell, but you're the one scared of the sky. Begging every satellite company to hide what we did to your guys. 17 bases hit, C-130 and Black Hawk's gone. 100 million wasted just to save one pawn. Now you're blocking the photo so the world doesn't see how bad little Iran fucked up your military. Power plant, bridge day. Open the fucking Strait or you'll be living in hell. Censor the satellites. How what we did to your bases. You're losing your mind and you're losing this war. Face it. Sacred defense. We still standing. You censoring the sky. They said it was a rescue, but it was a heist. Uranium heist, uranium heist. Tried to steal our uranium in the dead of night. Commandos, Rangers, Black Hawks in the fight failed miserably, just like Tabas, right? They flew deep into ice, and thought we wouldn't see. Special forces, excavators trying to take our enriched uranium for free. Attacked our defenses, tried to seize the ground, but we lit them up. Now the birds are down. C-130 gone, Black Hawks burning in the sand. 600 million wasted on a failed master plan. They called it a rescue, but the world knows the truth. They came for our uranium, that's the real proof. We said it clear, this wasn't random at all. They wanted our nuclear material, that was the goal. Deep into our territory under constant threat, but they got exposed, now the whole world sees their regret. Felt like Tabas, history repeating again. Superpower embarrassed, losing more than just man. You try to rob us in the middle of the war, now you're running scared. We laugh from afar, sacred defense. Uranium safe. Stop running away, keep your boots on the ground. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicholas Lamar Suter, and this is In Time. We had a show planned. We've had to modify it slightly. It's been all breaking for the last hour. As of 5 minutes ago, a significant attack on Israel coming out of Iran. Iran has also struck in the last hour Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, the Kuwait, and Israel, multiple attacks on Israel. CNN is reporting this as if it is a thing. We don't know yet if it's a thing. What we know is that about 2 hours ago, Donald Trump agreed to terms of a ceasefire, not of a a truce or but an actual ceasefire, not even to negotiate. It's a ceasefire between the United States and Iran. The U.S. appears to have immediately engaged in this ceasefire. Iran has not. I've also been watching Al Jazeera, who correctly pointed out that the command structure of Iran is deliberately decentralized, which means that you can do the kind of decapitation strike that was done, and the military will continue to function autonomously. It also means that when you negotiate a ceasefire, it doesn't take effect right away. They're expecting it to take between 4 to 24 hours for all of the attacks to stop coming out of Iran. Hopefully Trump understands that. But a number of U.S. news organizations are painting this as already having violated the ceasefire. And if you've been watching the show and you know that we've talked about the decentralized nature of literally you can take out any number of command centers over there and they're going to keep fighting. Unfortunately, it's a bit similar to how a terrorist cell operates. Their military is a bunch of cells, and you can wipe out any number of cells and the others can function semi-autonomously. That appears to be what is going on right now. So we have to discuss where we are, how we got here, and what it looks like going forward. 2 hours ago, the President of the United States said that he had reached an agreement with Iran. He has been all over Truth Social getting really pissed at U.S. media, especially CNN, saying that they have allegedly reported various things. What he means to say is they reported various allegations. We'll get to it. The question is, and by the way, we have counted, and here's a timeline, because I think it's also important to figure out what have we gotten for this ceasefire and what have we gotten for where we are now versus where we were before the fighting started. On March 21st, Trump posted that they would fully open the Strait of Hormuz in 48 hours, or we would obliterate their power plants, starting with the biggest one first. On March 23rd, he said that they were having productive conversations, and he had ordered the Pentagon to postpone these strikes on civilian power plants, which would have been illegal. We're going to discuss that too. Let's see, on the 30th, he said that if the Strait of Hormuz was not immediately opened, they would strike Craig Island, the main oil export hub, and possibly all desalination plants. After that, let's see, April 1st, Trump said that Iran had asked for a ceasefire. Iran's foreign minister said that that is false and baseless. He said that because they asked, he would give them more time, but he said there would be a ceasefire only when there was an open, free Strait of Hormuz controlled by the United States. Until then, they would blast Iran back into oblivion and back to the Stone Age. April 4th, he said time is running out. They have 48 hours to open the strait or all hell will rain down on them. It's insane, and we're going to get to his insanity in a little bit because it's important. But what we know is as follows. Yesterday, they submitted an 11-point plan, which Trump rejected. Today, they submitted a 10-point plan. Trump has said this is something he can work with. He is not accepting it as a final negotiation, but he said that a final negotiation can be reached in principle on this plan. So he has agreed to a ceasefire. Iran has also agreed. This was negotiated apparently a lot by J.D. Vance, who has been strongly against this war, which makes him probably the best person to be negotiating, at least of Trump's inner circle, for this. It was negotiated through, I want to say the Pakistani president. So it is confirmed by everybody on all sides. Like I said, right now, Iran is still firing. There are air raid sirens in almost every Eastern allied country, Middle Eastern allied country still. It appears from what I'm seeing that the number of attacks is diminishing rapidly. But again, the word has to get to everybody. So there are a couple of interesting things that it looks like everybody's agreed to in this ceasefire. One, the ceasefire includes Lebanon. That's interesting because the ceasefire does not include Israel. Israel has not agreed. Well, let me rephrase that. When this ceasefire was made, Israel had not agreed to it and had not participated in the negotiation. They said that any negotiated ceasefire they would not be a part of. After the ceasefire was negotiated, they were like, wait, you guys are, and literally right after it was negotiated, missiles just started coming from Iran into Israel. And they're like, we're a part of this. We want everyone to know we are, Taco Tuesday. It's absolutely Taco Tuesday. Oh, I was going to make a Taco Tuesday meme too. We're going to make like a huge AI thing. And I was working on regular news. Dear Lord. So, Iran has now basically agreed to, not Iran, Israel has said that they are on board with this. We are not aware yet as to whether or not Iran has accepted Israel as a part of this. So we're going to have to find out. Israel is not formally a part of it. It looks like because Lebanon is included, if that means Israel would have to stop its incursion into Lebanon. Israel has released a statement saying that they are not giving back the territory that they have currently seized from Lebanon. This strikes me as a sticking point. And I will tell you, my initial looking into this suggests that this is actually a staggering win for Iran. And we're going to get into how and why in a minute. Fox News is painting this as a win for the U.S., and Trump master negotiated this, and I think we all need to look at the history and how we got here, because this is insane where we are right now. So, what is the 10-point plan that Trump has, in part, agreed to? Let's see here. It includes a couple of things. First of all, this deal does involve opening the Strait of Hormuz immediately. So it will be open. It will be open as soon as word gets to everybody it needs to that the strait should be open. However, it will be maintained and organized by the Iranian military, not by the United States, and not by the GCC. That is the, what is it, Gulf, I've forgotten, Council. It's the Economic Council of Middle Eastern countries that manage the oil in the region. They have been most concerned about the fact that they have been excluded from any negotiations, when any negotiations in the Strait, including, by the way, charging people for going through, is going to affect all of the states in the Middle East. They want to be included. They were not. Having said that, they have said they are optimistic that their needs will be considered. They have said that the current status of the Strait as considered to be international waters, which technically it's not. What's really important is international water. The Strait is about 25 miles. Actually, I think it's 21 miles across. International water starts at 12 miles. That's usually what's recognized by most countries, including the U.S. So the U.S. waters ends at 12 miles. 12 miles. Once you are 12 miles from the U.S., you are in U.S. waters under U.S. Jurisdiction. U.S. jurisdiction at 12 miles. UK jurisdiction, 12 miles. Any country that's got a coast, 12 miles. That's half the Strait of Hormuz. That's more than half. That Iran, it's their waters by international law. Oman has the other half. So one of those two countries, you're going through their waters. Now, they have, up until now, allowed it to continue as international waters. It's been in everybody's best interest. But I got to tell you, that sounds like kind of a good guy thing to do, to just say, yeah, these are technically our waters, but everybody can just pass through it and we don't care. And people say, with the closing's illegal. Well, it's illegal in as much as customarily for decades they've left it open and haven't exercised their rights to it. But now that they're exercising those rights, it's sort of like, did they lose them by not exercising them previously? And that's actually, by the way, that's an issue not entirely unlike what's happening, in Israel. If does somebody lose their rights if they haven't used their land in a generation, 2 generations? This gets complicated. Long story short, it seems to me that that's still Iran's territorial waters. Right now, what Trump has agreed to, that we seem to understand here, is that the Iranian military is in charge of which ships go first and when. Both Iran and Oman have said they are going to charge ships to go through. We believe that, now we don't have a second source on that. I believe that's accurate. Here's why I believe that's accurate. They have said a final part of any peace deal would have to include that. If they don't do that now, it'll be much harder to tack on later. And since the U.S. has said that it's not going to be our military, and it's not going to be any other Middle Eastern country or the GCC, it's going to be the Iranian military that organizes ships going through the strait in both directions. So what that means is, if they're ever going to start charging a fee, now's the time. And the only way to stop it is to end the truce. It's just, so do you want to end the truce over them doing a fee? That's a good move if you're them. So my suspicion is the informal reporting that we've heard, that they're going to start fees. We haven't confirmed it, but my suspicion is Oman and Iran are both going to start charging fees, because we do know that was part of their final peace plan. And if they're going to get it in, now's the time to shoehorn it in. Trump's literally told them, you guys own the strait right now. Until we're done with this, your military is running things in the strait. That's what Trump gave them. Just FYI. Not that I think that's a terrible idea, but isn't that less than we had before we went to war? Asking for a friend. A few other changes that we need to talk about. In the 10-point plan, security guarantees, a binding U.S. commitment to end hostilities and not to attack Iran again. Now, they're concerned about this, and they've pointed this out, and I think they're a little touchy on this subject, and here's why. Obama negotiated a plan with them, which was a good plan, and I want to make it crystal clear, on a scale of 1 to 10. The plan that he negotiated with them was about a 7.5 to an 8. It was a good plan. It wasn't a great plan, so I'll say 7.5 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. It was good, and it would have lasted us a while. Would have to renegotiate later. Hey, 7.5 to an 8. Trump illegally terminated the plan, said they violated it, which they didn't, and then struck them, which kind of ticked them off. Then, for his second term, he was negotiating with them when he did the Midnight Hammer operation. So the negotiation was just a tactic to keep them off guard. It turns out we maybe knocked them back a couple of months. He said they've been obliterated. No, we knocked them back a couple of months. That's it. We didn't do much damage at all. That's our own intelligence agencies. That's not their propaganda. Their propaganda is saying that too. Their propaganda is unusually accurate, probably because they're aware we have free speech in this country and we can fact check it. It's a little eerie when, with the fact checking, the propaganda coming out of Iran is more accurate than what Trump is truthing. That concerns me. At any rate. So then we were negotiating for the end of their enrichment program. Trump negotiated a deal that, in my view, was a 9 to a 9.5 on a scale of 1 to 10. It did everything Obama's did, and it was better. They would give up their uranium, which they didn't have to do. They would enrich it down, but they would keep a stockpile under Obama's plan. Under Trump's plan, they gave it up. Trump's plan was also permanent. Obama's would have to be renegotiated in 7 years. This was a mind-blowing plan. You know what? I'm glad for the opportunity to finally say Trump did something well and did it better than Obama. He always wants to get credit for better than Obama, right? Good. I want him to succeed. That's what Obama said too. We want him to succeed. Instead, after that plan was basically settled upon, and they had agreed to it, the day after, this war started. All right. Okay. So we had a plan that was a 9 to a 9.5, and I gave them full credit for that. They were going to give up the uranium. They were going to do. And by the way, people like to say, we have this mantra that we keep repeating. Well, it's Iran. They lie about everything, or they lie. Every agency from the UN, MI6, CIA, NSA, everybody says that they stopped enriching at a certain point, and there's a strategic reason why they did that. We know why they did that. Trump and previous Netanyahu loves to lie and say they're about to make the bomb. They're about to make the bomb. Ooh, all right. Thank you for that. What I think we're going to do. All right, thank you, Titan. When I hear from him, that'll be great. Netanyahu's they're about to make the bomb. They're about to make the bomb. He managed to get Trump to go all in on this, and they don't want to make one because they know if they make one, we have to stop them. We have to end them. Anything short of that, we don't have to. They know that. So why the hell are we here? All right, Kafir, if you can, Kafir is available. I would like to have him come in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up what we know and then bring him in because I think that's going to be some very important insight into what's going on. So maybe 5 minutes. If you're free in 5 minutes, I'll try to get sort of a rundown done in 5 minutes, and then I will bring you in. Zoom call if I think you should be able. I think you were able to do that last time, so we'll get you in. I don't think Xandrin came in. Although perfect, we got the room, no problem. So thank you, Kafir. I will 5 minutes. So let's quickly finish off the 10-point plan so everybody knows. Oh, all right. Kafir's big. We're going to have Kafir for you. He is. He has been fighting in Israel to help overthrow the Netanyahu regime, which has been a huge nightmare in Israel and has now created a huge nightmare for us. Because I don't know what he's got on Trump, but Trump has been doing this at his behest. We know that, and we have to stop lying to ourselves. We have to stop letting MAGA get away with, oh, Trump thought he... No. All our intelligence agencies said they were not... Kristi Noem testified before Congress a couple days after the war started that we knew for a fact they were not enriching any further. They were no closer to a bomb than they were 2 years ago. Not any closer. Kristi Noem knew that. She told that to the president. And he's like, they're 30 days from a bomb. So we have to stop pretending. There are plenty of things to hate about that regime. There really are. I'm not trying to defend them. I'm trying to be honest because it's getting people killed and it's doing a shit ton of damage. And what Trump did in the last 48 hours is unhinged. Unhinged to the point where he should be 25th immediately. So what else is in this deal? Because we really do need to make sure we cover that. One, security guarantees. They don't want us attacking them anymore. Well, golly gee, I wonder why. And they don't want us attacking during negotiations. They want the U.S. to start negotiating in good faith. We are the bad guys in this scenario so far as I can tell. I would be glad to be corrected by someone. We are the bad guys because we've been negotiating twice when we knew both times we were going to attack them anyway. So they're a little froggy about that. Regional control. They want continued Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to also have to negotiate that with Oman because Oman controls the other half, but Oman seems to be completely on board, and right now they're going to start charging people to go through. But so far, these are the points that Trump has tentatively agreed to. Sanctions relief, the lifting of all primary and secondary U.S. and UN sanctions. Nuclear rights, acceptance of Iran's right to enrich uranium. That's in the 10-point deal that Trump just said tentatively we're good on and we can do a ceasefire with. The withdrawal of forces, removal of U.S. combat forces from the region. That would suggest to me other Middle Eastern bases. Reconstruction, payment of damages for infrastructure destroyed during the conflict, and end to regional conflict, cessation of war in all areas, including Yemen and Lebanon. Okay, Yemen, we had to go in when they closed the strait on the south there, south of Saudi Arabia. I've forgotten the name of it, El Bazen. They closed that strait. We ended up having to hit the Houthis in order to get it open again. This would presumably prevent us from being able to do that. It would prevent Israel from going any further into Lebanon. This is astonishing. These are the basic points that they have gotten the president to agree to. I would like to remind you, before he decided to just hit them out of the blue, we had a deal where the strait remained open anyway. It remained international waters. They were going to give us their uranium, and he negotiated to this. This is what the master negotiator has done. Now, in the process of this brilliant negotiation that he's done, where they're going to start charging for the strait, they're going to have a military right to the strait, they can close it again at any time. In the process of that, let's see, okay, so this is the Pakistan deal here. This is him saying that he's agreed this will be a double-sided ceasefire, except there's 3 parties. I love this. You do realize there's 3 parties? It's a double-sided. Israel had nothing to do with this. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. We already won a negotiation better than this a month ago, and Trump won it. Oh my God. And I know Fox is going to be spinning this as he just did such a great job, but this is what he said. I think this was, this was today. We did total regime change. We haven't changed. It's still a Khomeini in charge. None of this is true. But a whole civilization will die tonight. That's a hell of a thing for the President of the United States to say. Because he can do it. He can do it if he wants to. And one of 2 things is true. Either he means it or he's lying. If he's lying, the reason he's lying is because he wants people to think he means it. He's bluffing, and this is part of the negotiation. But he's threatening to commit genocide, which is what happens if you hit the power plants in Middle Eastern countries. Why? Because the power plants power the desalination plants, and if the desalination plants aren't working, guess what happens? Run out of drinking water, they all die. So he is threatening to commit genocide. That video that we played earlier, I don't think I have it up again. Well, let me bring this one up again, because this was completely unhinged. They on Fox News, they don't even realize that what he's talking about. They don't know enough about the region to realize if you cut off all the power, I mean, you're attacking civilian plants. Also on Fox News, they've mentioned how the Ayatollah, actually, I think it was the president, said he wanted civilians to protect these facilities. And they're like, oh, that's a war crime. Human shields, that's a war crime. No, because you're not legally able to target those facilities. It's a war crime to have civilians protecting military facilities. That's human shields. That's a war crime. When they're standing in front of power plants that you can't legally target, that's not a war crime. Fox News doesn't appear to know that. Listen to this, too, because she basically argues, she argues that Iranians want to be genocided.
Don't have to threaten genocide to get Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, we've lost the plot here. The president has lost the plot. The president went in to say that he wanted to free the Iranian people. Now he's talking about destroying 90 million people.
I was speaking with Nazimoyan, and I've spoken with a lot of Iranian activists.
And so she's first like, well, what do you want him to do? It's like, well, I wanted him not to start the war in the first place, but this is his war. He can do what he wants. Just don't threaten genocide. And she's so casual, like, well, what should he be doing then? That's his problem. He's the one who ran for office. He's the one who decided to start this war. He needs to figure it out, but he should not be committing to saying he's going to wipe an entire civilization from the face of the earth.
And do they not want this?
They want him to threaten to wipe out 91 million people?
I think they understand what
this is.
I don't think anyone's talking about
this. Is not a New York real estate deal.
Yes, he said he was going to hit the desalination plants. He said he was going to eliminate all of them. That's what we're talking about. So that is what we're talking about. So Trump said he's going to hit the desalination plants. He said they need to open the fucking Strait. And then he had this, there was a delightful break from all of the craziness for Easter. He went crazy on Easter when he said they need to open the fucking Strait. But then look at this. This is the Easter egg roll. You can see the Easter bunny there. And Trump was helping with all the kids who were going to have a little contest to see who could roll. It was a nice break from all the insanity. And let's hear what Trump had to say to these children on the holiest Christian day for the Easter. There he is with the Easter bunny. And what did he have to say?
So that Iran, they're capable fighters, they're very tough people, and there are others like that. You don't mind when the enemy is weak, but that enemy is strong. Not so strong like they were about a month ago, I can tell you. In fact, right now they're not too strong at all, in my opinion, but we're soon going to find out, aren't we?
That is Donald Trump speaking to the children of the the White House Easter egg roll. That is dementia. He doesn't understand where he is. He doesn't understand the context. Even Hegseth wouldn't have done that. Because Hegseth would have understood. The bunny is sitting there next to him. What's the guy in the bunny suit thinking? It's like, thank God I'm in a bunny suit. It's the first time somebody in actually just said, like, thank God I'm in this bunny suit, man, and nobody knows that it's me. Next, this is unhinged. So, what we're going to do, we're going to bring Kafir on. We're going to reintroduce him. This is going to be his third time on the show. I'm delighted to have him back, but that's where we stand. As far as I can tell, Trump has lost it. He clearly, by the way, and he's upset at Tehran is saying that this is a complete victory for them. Given what I've seen, and I've just gone over what the proposals were, he has said the 10 points is something he can work with. I've outlined to you what those 10 points are. This seems like a huge win for them. This seems like a huge win for them. CNN pointed out that they were claiming it was a win. Trump is now railing against CNN. He is in worse shape than Biden was when they wanted Biden 25th. The Democrats have come out and made this message, House Democratic leadership. This is basically this House Democrats, this has to stop. They are now in a much better position. We've killed a lot of their people to do that. We've destroyed a lot of, we've spent something like 1.3 trillion on this war, but we couldn't fund food stamps. Something is very wrong. Something is really fucking wrong, and it has to stop. And it's all centered around Trump. Probably that Bibi's got blackmail on him, is my guess. Well, that'll be one of the hypotheticals because we ask Kafir questions that he can't possibly know the answer to just to mess with him. Let me send him the link right now. All right. And I think he sent me... all right. Perfect. I will get that link. He sent me a link. It's in... the language goes from right to left, so that's gonna have some. But here, let me send you the link to get in, Kafir. All right, that link should get you in. I may not know right away when you're in, so just hang tight, and it may remember you and automatically give you the seat. I've got a Xandering's card up. I may just put you in as Xandering. Xandering, are you here by any chance? No, we don't have a Xandering. So I'm still not going to put you in his seat. I'll put you in the 7 there. But I have gone to the website. Oh, and I did want to check the live chat. Was there anything else? True Social, this alleged statement put out by CNN is fraud. He is pissed about CNN. Authorities are looking into whether or not a crime was oh my God. Yep, there's the statement from Iran. Tehran has agreed. Trump is losing it. He is once again pulling defeat from the jaws of victory. Let me check. Yes, thank you, Titan. We do know that the House Democrats do want to impeach Hegseth over the Iran war. All right, thank you. Let me get, let's see. It's been a while since, we will put you in, actually, I think since, yeah. All right, Kafir, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
All right, perfect. I think the audience should be able to hear you too. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Wow. A lot is going on.
It has been a day. The link I sent you, mainly it's a video there that I want. If you want, you can screen share
I can do that.
a video from me for that. Give me a few moments.
All right, let me get that set up then too. So I will, yeah, as soon as you got a screen share, I'll put it in the center camera. That'll take me a second, but we can put that up. Oh wow. All right, so Yeah, I see it. So let me get that. For some reason, that's just not coming out on camera 7. So let's make sure that camera 7. Oh, that would be why.
Take your time.
Thank you. So while I do this, I did read that Israel is actually getting very war weary.
It depends on who. It really depends on who. As someone on the ground, me and the movement I'm a part of, I'm not going to take ownership of an entire movement, but me and the movement I'm a part of, we've been doing anti-war activity for like a good while. We've revitalized the Saturday protests. I don't really go to them because I do something else on Saturday, but I have done a variety of other protest actions. We've gone into derelict buildings that were derelict because of missile fire to hang giant banners off of them, put up warning tape and posters over university entrances. We try to be as vocal as we want about the fact that this war just is not benefiting us. But there are, of course, voices that just don't care. Today in the bomb shelter, early on, someone asked me, "Aren't you angry at them? Aren't you angry at them and everything they're doing?" Some people are still incredibly, still into this whole, still bought really hard into this whole narrative of this is totally necessary. Israel is totally the victim. We are blameless, and it is completely necessary, this war.
Now, speaking of which one, because you guys actually have two that because it's Iran and Lebanon.
It's being seen as the same one because Hezbollah itself is Iranian funded, but Hezbollah itself is Iranian funded and founded. Because of that, it is very much seen as just the same war. There have been talkings in the media about even conquering land as far as Beirut.
That was my assumption. My assumption was the Israeli, the IDF wants to go, that Netanyahu wants to go as far as Beirut. That's
Lebanon
what I assume.
Lebanon won all over again. This is a video of a strike in one of the larger cities in Israel. There have been so far strikes in Tel Aviv and Beersheba. The one being shown right now is Beersheba. I'm going to stop sharing now.
Okay. Yeah. What I may just do is, since I don't have a blank card for you, I will I'll just leave that image up there. It doesn't matter. You can stop sharing. It'll leave that image.
Yeah. One R on the name, by the way.
Thank you.
So there have been hits, like I said, both Beersheba, Tel Aviv, a couple of other places. Outlets are indecisive if it's 3 injured or 4 injured. Both Israel and Iran have been very blatantly targeting civilian targets. Both of them have. Like, it's a complicated situation. It's a very complicated situation. In the ground, there is definitely some war fatigue, but like I said, there are plenty of people who are just fully bought into the narrative. Right now, we're also in the middle of a holiday. It is Passover. It's basically the biggest holiday of the year. There have been some very World War I adjacent talks. There were some very World War I adjacent talks of it'll all be over by the end of Passover. Before the holiday began, that really do make me worry that this is just the start of something much worse.
Well, and one of the things, so I when I had been looking into the reporting, I think it was AP on war weariness, one of the things that they pointed out was the casualty count in Israel is still very low relative to Iran.
And the casualty counts are always very low because Israel is a warmongering nuclear power, and we have bomb shelters built into every inch of our infrastructure. My big existential fear is not death. It is, what the hell am I supposed to do if a missile hits my house and I lose everything?
Yeah.
Because there is a bomb shelter right under me. I just have to go downstairs, and there is a bomb shelter with meter-thick walls.
Jesus. So that's what, a meter is about 3 feet, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like they were built very sturdy. It's honestly, I think that it is the biggest crime of the government that children have to grow up getting used to run into bomb shelters and worrying about missile sirens, which have become a constant of daily life. Have not ceased over the holiday. We've had sirens as late as an hour ago. About an hour ago, the last one stopped. I'm not seeing if there are any more currently.
What is I'm going to have several, I've, as Maudie would say, made of questions. The two questions I most want to ask right now. One, what is the view that, if you can tell, of people about the ceasefire? Yeah, it is a ceasefire. And do they have... let's start with that, actually. Let's just start with that.
Right, so I did actually say this in chat. We, the people, did not know we were not involved in the ceasefire. We didn't know that. We heard Trump say, oh, there will be a ceasefire. It is mutual. We thought he was also speaking for Israel.
Yeah.
People an hour and a half ago in the bomb shelter were shocked that there was still being missile fire despite Trump having announced a ceasefire. They were like, didn't he announce a ceasefire? Isn't it over? Isn't it ending? We were taken completely off guard by there continuing to be sirens after the ceasefire was announced, especially by the two strikes. I'm not going to go further into that. I don't want to dox which city I'm in, but my city was also hit by a lot of sirens, and it is very nerve-wracking. So we were very caught off guard by the fact that apparently we were not being spoken for. People are just happy that it is finally calming down. But like I said, the propaganda is so strong that I am not going to be surprised if there won't be a critical response if the war were to resume. The base that is anti-war is growing, but not at the rate that you would expect. It's not at the rate you would expect, and it's not in the way that you would expect. People don't care about what's being done to them. They only care about what's being done to us, to put it mildly. There has been non-stop obituaries of children. There's no other way I can put this. Children between the ages of 18 to 22 being sent out to Lebanon to die. Their obituaries have been non-stop in the news. And a lot of people see it as a worthy sacrifice.
The ceasefire includes Lebanon. Can Bibi afford not to continue the war in Lebanon? And if he chooses not to, he's got to he has to stay at war, otherwise the Knesset is going to expand again. Is that correct?
Yes. The right has seen significant losses over the last 2 years. Ben Gvir's retreat from the government nearly tore them into shreds. There is no chance in high hell that Bibi will get elected as prime minister again, unless he pulls some bullshit like last time to basically steal the seat of power um, via political maneuvering despite not getting the majority vote. He has done that before. I will not put that above him. But being voted by majority is not something I can see happening again. The problem with Lebanon is that we've been here before. I already told you it's Lebanon 1 all over again. If you're aware of what happened there is enough bad blood from the first Lebanon war, enough casualties, enough soldiers killed every single week and returned until the IDF finally retreated, that I do not see it as a major loss. Rather, the fact that there are even talks about conquering Lebanon again is sort of a sign of how extreme things have become.
What's the thinking on... I would imagine it would come as a shock to most Israelis just how supportive Trump is. I mean, to have the president of the United States walking and talking with Bibi as a brother, almost. What's been the...
How can we say this? We all think he's insane. No one is ever surprised at anything Trump does anymore. We all think he's insane. I think I told you this before. There's a very us versus them mentality in Israel, and everyone who is pro-us is seen as good. One of my archaeology lectures once described Caligula as making even Trump seem clear-headed and balanced person. Which I think goes to show a lot that he needs comparison to Caligula to be seen as a clear-headed and balanced person. As far as the public is concerned, he may be insane, but at least he likes Israel. That is just the general vibe. Israel is, from a geopolitical standpoint, nobody in the country really understands that Israel itself isn't important. It's more so important that it's in the way to everywhere else. It is a strategic location for a base of power for the US military, and that's why he will keep supporting it.
Now, my assumption is that Iran is going to keep up its end of the deal. We said earlier why it's taking them so long. They've decentralized power explicitly to hedge against a decapitation strike like what they received. But my suspicion is they will keep with the deal. The reason is, so far, by, for the most part, engaging in tit for tat and trying to, with the exception of their attacks on Israel, which have always been, it's a different thing, but at least with the U.S. and the Middle East and our bases in the Middle East, you know, they lose one desalination plant, they hit one in Bahrain, and so far this looks to me like a huge victory for Iran. So I think they're going to want to stick to the deal as much as humanly possible. If they do, and if the attacks stop, let's say within the next 4 to 12 hours, what do you think is going to be the sentiment? And I know it's going to be polarized, but what do you think is going to be the sentiment amongst the Israeli people going forward?
It'll be seen.
Yeah.
It will be seen as an Israeli victory. There have been a lot of people in the Iranian military that have been removed, and that is tantamount to success by the Israeli media. It will paint this as an overall victory of, oh, they surrendered to us. People here don't have the economic wherewithal to understand how vital the Hormuz Strait getting taxed is. I don't think they will understand how big of a loss tariffs on the Hormuz Strait will be. The whole thing will probably be painted as some sort of victory by the media itself. People themselves are getting very weary of basically all the bullshit. It's been 2 years of nearly continuous wars. There have been a lot of dead people. There have been people whose entire education, career, and life have been absolutely demolished by being called up to reserves for extended periods of time. And people are very tired of the situation. But it is seen as a bit of a taboo to even speak out against such things. Because, like, yeah, sorry.
No, please. I can talk anytime I want to. Please.
It's basically the same thing of Israel has managed to conflate Zionist, Jewish, Israeli, and all of these words as just the exact same thing. And speaking out against the war, against the Bibiist government, against everything, can also make you seem anti-Israeli and therefore as an anti-Semite Israeli.
Well, and we have some of the same thing here. It's not as bad. It was when when W. Bush was in office after 9/11. You could not speak out against anything Bush did. You couldn't speak out against the Patriot Act, despite the fact it was a phenomenally terrifying act. And even now they're like, yeah, that was probably a bad idea. Well, if you said that then, you were for the terrorists. But anyways, so one thing there are two things actually that we don't see in the news. One, you probably don't care as much about as Americans. It's extraordinarily important, though, which is the Epstein files. We haven't seen that in the news in a little while.
Oh, no, we care about that, too.
Oh, good. You'll have to let me know.
Was in the Epstein files.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He is.
You think we don't care about the Epstein? Everyone cares about the Epstein files. Everyone
except
there.
The U.S.
It's like the Avengers Endgame of old, disgusting oligarchs.
Wow. Okay, you're gonna have to.
Everyone was there.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, and it was not just Bibi, but Ehud Barak. So, and yeah. Okay. Well, it's amazing to have what seems like an American thing, but also we're one of the few countries where it's sort of like, I mean, okay, in England, in the Netherlands, look, they're having consequences, and we're like.
I am going to tell you a story from my childhood. When I was 16. I was 15 or 16. It was the 2016 US elections. It was exam period. It was a tough time. We were doing our IGCSEs. Those are like the finals, sort of like a, God, I forgot what's the American version of it. But basically the final test you take. And we were huddled around phones in the empty classrooms waiting to see the results of the US elections, because the US's economy and the US's politics is very, very influential internationally, especially on US allies like Kenya, like Israel. Israel would be very affected by a regime change if a less pro-Israel president were to finally be elected for the first time in something of 50 years. Let's be real. The military-industrial complex will ensure that there will always be support for Israel, but your politics is important to us because you are basically our biggest and most powerful ally.
That makes a lot of sense. It's also the same thing with Canadians who tend to know more about American politics than most Americans I've met. It's always really embarrassing.
Yep.
So that's the first one. So, and I stand corrected there, very much so. But then the second one is Gaza. Nobody's been thinking about or talking about Gaza because there have been sort of the more immediate threat. But Gaza,
it's a bit of a distraction thing. Oh, we finished the thing in Gaza. There is no more place to have war done in. Let's start another one so we can tear away focus. The entire area has been completely devastated. People there are in extremely dire straits. I'm still pretty sure that humanitarian aid is being blocked.
Most of it is, yes. My understanding is 90%
still being blocked, including from within Israel. My movement has tried several times to get food trucks into Gaza unsuccessfully. It's a very tough challenge. People are still, how do I say this? Someone in chat mentioned that there were talks in the Israeli media of next Turkey. On the topic of going as far as Beirut in Lebanon, and next will be Turkey. Those are very much the extremists. Those are very much the big extremists. But there is still a deal of basically the Jewish version of manifest destiny in Israel. A lot of people in the Bible, it mentions a unified kingdom of Israel. As a student of archaeology, I can tell you that no, just straight up. However, what was I going to say? Sorry. However, a lot of people see the unified kingdom of Israel as described in the Bible as what Israel, as the borders that Israel should have today, and use that as an excuse for expansion.
And what I'm going to do is, what I think you're talking about is Greater Israel, and I have an image.
Yes, Greater Israel, unified kingdom of Israel and Judea. Dated to about the 10th century BCE. A complete myth, a complete and utter myth. But it is very influential on Zionist thinking and Israeli thought.
And for those whom it influences, for the rest of us, you need to be worried about this, because Greater Israel is not a small thing. That is Greater Israel. And for those that want to take Greater Israel, they already own all that. It's just that Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon haven't figured out yet that they own all that.
Basically the Jewish version of manifest destiny, as I said.
Yeah.
They see it as their right. They like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There have been Americans driving around in the West Bank with pickup trucks with genetically engineered red heifers on them. The situation is fucked. I'm not even going to say dire. The situation is fucked. They genetically engineered red heifers and drove them out to the West Bank. But
red heifers?
Red heifers. Red calves.
You've lost me. I do not understand what that is.
Apocalyptic Christian prophecy.
Yes. Okay. So Christian Zionists trying to incite Israel to go take over more. Okay.
For reference, a biblical prophecy mentions a baby cow or a heifer of completely red color being slaughtered to be the second coming of the third temple of Israel. That you have your religious nuts, we have our religious nuts.
Yeah, but listen, we like to elect them. Hegseth
exactly. You get it.
Hegseth talking, and we have a video that I was going to play. There's really no at this point. I was just talking about every American's Christian right to have a gun, and
So back to the topic of Gaza. Yes. A lot of the discussion now is, it should already be ours because it's a unified kingdom of Israel or whatever. It is our right to have that land. However, it's been so thoroughly demolished and trampled, not to mention that there are people living there. I don't see any significant change happening to the status quo, because any significant change happening to the status quo means that a forever war can't be reestablished there. The big issue we face right now as Israel is that one of our most extreme people in the government, Ben-Gvir, has managed to generate a lot of momentum. He's done a lot of political moves that Bibi had in his early years that gained him a lot of momentum among the very far right. He's doing the exact thing against the even more further right, heavily religious right. If he somehow manages to get reelected, there is a very solid chance that Gaza will just be re-annexed. If not, I genuinely cannot tell you what will happen because it is just such a toss-up between the extremely far right that wants to take the land and turn it into like a public park or something of that manner, and between the far right but not extremely far right that will want some arena to continue their forever war is. It should never be forgotten that Bibi purposefully funded the Hamas himself in order to keep Gaza separated from the Palestinian Authority, and has said, and this is a quote, "The Hamas are an asset." That is a Bibi quote.
Yeah, I remember that. That's also it's the same reason why China hasn't taken Taiwan yet. As soon as they take Taiwan, it was also the reason why in the United States, the Republicans, when they had a couple of opportunities to really win on abortion, didn't, because they needed it as a rallying cry. Now that it's gone, the thinking is they would be weaker, but yeah.
Yeah, they've just moved on to trans rights.
Yep. All right, I got a couple super chats. Let me please finish your thought, and then I will do some super chats.
No, go for the super chats.
All right, Dave Marvin, $2. Nick, what's your favorite type of tacos? My favorite type of tacos are the ones that can't get elected. Dave Marvin also gifted 5 members. Thank you very much for that, and we appreciate you. We appreciate all of you coming. It's it was basically an in time with a rundown and a breaking news. So thank you very much for your support and for the 5 memberships. We really appreciate it. Sinister Porpoise, 256. Trump gave Taco Tuesday. Trump really did, and I have that meme. It's just so much going on. But there, I had thought about that yesterday. I was like, so it's going to be Taco Tuesday. It's just the spin that this is a victory. I'm like, Iran got more than they got out of the deal. They suffered for it. Don't get me wrong, but the deal that, oh dear Lord, now that's assuming, again, this is a tentative framework that Trump has agreed is a workable framework to make a final deal. The irony is that I can tell the 10-point deal that Trump has said today he can work with is the same as the 11-point deal. They just merged 2 of the points. It's the same one from oh my God, it's the same one from yesterday.
I have a very unfortunate update.
Yes.
This came in about 45 minutes ago. I didn't notice. The IDF has attacked Iran back after they've attacked missile launching sites. Let's see. And something Iran will take fees for ships going through the Straits of Hormuz, but there have been strikes back from the IDF.
All right. All right. Well, Iran includes acceptance of enrichment. Yeah, Iran includes. We know in the Farsi version of this ceasefire. According to this is interesting. There's two versions of the 10-point plan. The one that was in English did not include the Farsi version, which did include acceptance of enrichment. We'll see. Israel is still attacking. Iran says, 43 minutes ago we got it. Xandring, are you here? You come on in anytime, Xandring. This is $10.
I've actually been here for quite a while, but I trying to catch up and didn't want to interrupt.
Sorry, Xandring.
It was my fault. I was, but good you're here. Let me finish with the, and then we'll see if you've got any questions, because there's a lot, there's just a little bit to catch up on. Thank you for the super, instead of making me jump out of my chair, you actually have to, okay, thank you for not giving me a heart attack. Dunk on you, $20. YouTube won't let me write what I want to write. It centers around the U.S. power. Still Slava Ukraine. Yeah, and as Andrew has talked about this, if an EMP went off over the U.S., would have a really big problem. And the idea that Fox News co-host, I don't know her name. I don't want to know her name. And she's sitting there going, well, so, it's not a war crime to hit their electrical grid. Excuse me. Have you ever lived in a city? Thank you, Dunk on you, for that, and thank you for the 5 memberships. And Xandring person, no idea who that. I'm here. It really is. Good to see you. I left a snarky voicemail. It was the snark. You came for the snark. But thank you for the super chat too. That really does help. So thank you very much for that. Is Andrew?
I was thinking my life just wasn't quite complete. I was missing something. I wasn't quite sure what it was, and it finally dawned on me. It's like, oh, I haven't been made fun of by Nick yet this week. So
yeah, it's listen. If I don't get a chance to do it, I feel like something's missing. So I'm glad you were able to make it. My
truck was in the shop, and my phone was in the truck, and I didn't even realize you'd called, and I just got my truck back and hit the road, and now I'm out in the middle of Texas.
All right. So, are you? I could play the Easter Bunny footage for you again. I think you saw that earlier.
I did not see that. I wasn't here that long ago.
It's on the Discord. By the way, anything that we put on our shows, if you want to see the Lego videos, we usually put them on the Discord or on the website. So you can see all of the Iranian Lego videos. They are propaganda, and we label them as propaganda. But it's worth seeing. And one of the things that I've said repeatedly is it's scary that they know us better than we know ourselves, because they know. Yeah, that propaganda stuff's targeted at us and targeted at triggering Trump, and it worked, which was even more remarkable.
It's not the hardest to read.
I think you may have a point there. All right. So, Xandring, your thoughts? You're up to date? Where we have a ceasefire in place. It's taken a while for the Iran to notify its people because they're decentralized. So they've still been firing into some areas. The reports are air alarms have still been going off, but there hasn't been incoming into a number of Middle Eastern countries. Israel is a notable exception until a short while ago. I don't know if they've had anything recent within the last hour, but
it stopped about an hour and a half ago. But we have also had reports that there have been firings into neighboring countries like the Arab Emirates.
Yeah, they did hit UAE, and they hit. There was at least incoming alerts on. I had a list.
Far as the Israeli media has informed, Israel has also accepted the treaty as a it's being said as a two sides peace treaty in our media too. I think that's just because the U.S. and Israel are lumping themselves together as one side.
Yeah, I think at this point that's wise.
We've had reports that Israel has also agreed to the ceasefire, and that it does include Lebanon.
Oh, okay.
It does include Lebanon. Wow.
Yeah. It's also in the Hebrew media. So yeah.
All right. So
like I said, nobody wants another war in Lebanon. We've had 2 of those, and they sucked.
Yeah. Well, no, not nobody. One person wants it. And unfortunately, you've elected him your prime minister, so I'm a little surprised he's
don't
agreed.
Blame me. I voted left. I voted very far left. I voted so far left that they didn't pass. There's something we call the blockage percentage, which is the amount of votes that a party needs to get in order to get part of the Senate.
Like 5% or something. You guys didn't even make 5%.
Yep, the one I voted just barely lost out. Barely.
God, it sounds like when I vote for a libertarian candidate in Washington, and they technically cross the threshold, but then they're like, because they crossed the threshold, which is 15% in order to be considered a major political party, but because they got like 15.1, they decided to count every vote, even the ones that are obviously joke votes, like voting for Daffy Duck or something like that, or they put in just something that's completely off the wall or complete gibberish, any of that. So they added in all of those write-in votes that are obviously pranks, so that the vote percentage would drop down to 14.7. So they didn't actually qualify, but it's kind of, at least they made 14%. Even if you count the obviously not serious votes, that's
something
better. It's better than less than 5.
Mm-hmm. I will say in the last election, Bibi did not win the popular vote. He basically had to cobble together a coalition by shaking hands with some very far-right extremists, and we are still paying the price for that.
Well, hopefully everybody who has fingers on buttons that launch missiles gets the memo that there's a ceasefire. No,
apparently they're working on it.
Accidents.
The thing is, there's been so many ceasefires that have been brokered and held for at least a few days. These accidents happen every single time. Every single time a missile goes off because they didn't get to it in time, and then somebody retaliates because they're pissed, and they usually work it out. So this is. Yeah.
According to the media, there have been retaliations, but it was nearly an hour ago when that was reported, and we haven't had further alarms, so the safest bet is there is something in place right now, but I'm not going to pretend that it's not tenuous.
Honestly, if Commander's in the audience and we could bring him in, it's probably not... tell you what, let me give Commander a call. I should have done this sooner. I just got so preoccupied. So if you all will excuse me for a minute, I'm going to... I can't believe... I'm going to hand the show over to Isandering. Isandering...
Oh, my God.
If we could...
This is my moment. My moment in the sun.
If we could...
So we're going to take a slight right turn here.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Well, hold on. He wants to ask a question. What was your question before
I was going to ask if I can get on a little bit of a soapbox about a struggle we've had in the politics of archaeology in Israel lately.
You can. Would you mind waiting? Because I want to hear it, and I'm gonna quickly go make a call, and I'm not going to be listening.
Okay, sure.
I don't want to. Last time I did this, we were cleaning like the streamers and the spray paint off the walls on In Time for like weeks. But Titan can come in. Oh yeah, there's a plan. There's a plan. My head mod who mocks me openly. Bring him in too with his andering while I'm gone.
Well, he did connect.
Well, finally release control of the show.
All right, it's yours.
Call already.
All right, I'm going to go do that. It's yours. Yeah, I'll see you in a minute.
Okay. I'm hoping that the ceasefire will hold, and that we can freaking resolve this mess, because normally I drive a semi truck. I deliver freight across the country. I own my own truck, and I have to buy my own fuel. And I just today got 192 gallons of fuel to fill my truck, and it was over $1,000.
Oh my.
I normally spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,500. That's a rough average. It does vary. So let's just say between $3,000 and $4,000 every 2 weeks for fuel. My last month, the last half of last month, I was spending an average of $5,400 every 2 weeks. So that's a heck of a jump in fuel prices.
That's actually very funny, because in the Israeli media, they're sort of trying to paint it like Trump is like this strategic genius, and that he doesn't need no oil from no Iranians because he already captured Venezuela. So, he doesn't need the Iranian oil.
Somebody needs to go in and teach him a little bit about a thing called economics and world markets, and the fact that pretty much every commodity is traded at a world level. So, okay, so we only get 8% of our current imports of oil from the Strait, and we picked up Venezuela, which is questionable. It's like that still doesn't matter, because oil is sold in a global market. So if there's shortages someplace else in the world, that's going to drive the prices up for us here anyway. Unless he's going to try and pull some protectionist stuff and say, hey, we need to, manufacture all of our own. Yeah, we'll manufacture all of our own oil and not put it on the market. And legally, I think that would be entirely questionable as to whether he could even do that.
I don't know if the oil lobby will let him.
No, well, I mean, just our laws should prevent that, because that comes close to nationalizing an industry. He's telling an industry you can't sell to the rest of the world.
You guys do desperately need some nationalizing of some of your industries, though.
Well, that's where I have a bit of a problem, because I don't trust the government to run anything. And I mean, just case in point,
that's very fair. Yeah, that is very fair.
So I don't think that the government will do a better job than the private. I mean, granted, the private sector has a lot of personal interests, and they're not out for the welfare of everybody else. But the government is just incompetent.
That's very fair, honestly, looking at your government currently. Not that mine is doing much better. I'm just telling you what the Israeli media is saying. We all think he's a fucking madman, but people are trying to paint him as some sort of like strategic mastermind, like conquering Venezuela, like the hungry dictator.
The MAGA supporters
was somehow a preparation for his attacks on Iran, because now he doesn't need Iranian oil.
Yeah, it's we have the same kinds of issues for some of the more MAGA supportive media outlets that I hesitate to call them media. They're more propaganda outlets. Trying to say that that's that whole same 3D underwater chess moves.
Look, all of our media outlets are propaganda.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no.
You can't access Al Jazeera in Israel.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's blocked. I'll send you a screenshot.
Yeah, that's well, they're good.
They are good. I know them from my time in Kenya. Oh wait, nope. The block seems to have been removed.
Oh,
they
wow.
were blocked. They're no longer blocked, it seems.
Ceasefire and all.
Yeah, ceasefire and all.
Well,
for a very long time, they were blocked. You couldn't access Al Jazeera from an Israeli internet network.
So let me do this.
My moment in the sun has now ended, and I hope I made a big impact on the world. And thank you. My dreams have all come true.
And there's no streamers, no paper anywhere. The place
just
is
don't
immaculate.
Open the mail.
Oh,
because
okay.
I sent you that gift box, that care package, before you let me have my moment in the sun.
Oh, Oh, okay. I'll do a return to sender on anything I get for yeah.
I didn't put a return. I didn't put a return address.
Well, that was smart of you. All right. Well, I do want to. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to do one quick thing on Trump being utterly insane, because we've heard that from a couple, and I'd like to equip our audience. And look, we're left leaning, so our audience is going to be left leaning too in general. But because I've spoken with
yourself.
Well,
we are left leaning.
When I say we, I mean like as in the organization. I mean, okay, look, to add every single mod we have, every host we have.
Okay, if we add up all of the staff and volunteers that work for, of course, those, I repeat myself, that's redundant, that contribute to End Time, then you can make the claim End Time is left-leaning. Please don't say we are left-leaning, because I'm actually here with you.
Okay, I don't mean we as in the panel, but okay. Okay. I mean we as in like the show, because I'm talking about our audience, and we do on occasion have shows with other. Anyways,
it's pedantic anyway.
All right, so. But I mean, I've encountered plenty of MAGA where they're like, oh, yeah, he's playing four-dimensional chess. And I was just like, no, he's really not. And what I think has to be remembered about this is people are going to sit there and say how brilliant this plan is. And you need to realize, and again, this is the other reason. And I have gotten into fights. I have lost really good friends because of this. I've lost people that meant a lot to me in my life because of this, which is defending really bad presidents. Like when George W. Bush did something really, when he did something right. And I said, yeah, he got that right, and he needs credit for that. And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you're giving him credit for that. I was like, look, he's done so many other fucked up things. Why do you need to? And I give Trump full credit. I said at the beginning of the show, the Obama deal with Iran was a 7.5 out of 10. It was a good deal. It wasn't great, but it was good. It was solid. Trump's deal with them was a 9 to a 9.5. It was genuinely better. It was an amazing. I was genuinely impressed. I'm starting to think they knew he was going to attack anyway, so they just gave him everything to make him look bad. I believe that at this point, so he probably didn't even really negotiate it. But certainly at the time, I gave him full props. So when I am perfectly happy to give him props when he does something right, but you have to accept the original deal. They were going to give up the uranium. The Strait was going to stay as the Strait was going to stay as international waters. There was going to be no tariffs on anything going through, or no charges on anything going through. They were going to agree to not make a nuclear weapon. We were going to help them with infrastructure and all this other stuff. He made a really great deal for everybody. And the day after, he attacked them.
Oh, definitely knew.
Yeah, they must have, because they just gave us everything. And so now he's got this deal, which sucks ass, compared to what we had, is going to put them in a great position. And everyone's like, he did a marvelous job. I was like, how? We're out of the quagmire. But at any rate, so on Easter Day, as I'm sure you know, as Andrew, he said they have to open the fucking Strait. He made all this almost biblical references of he was going to send them all to hell and all this other stuff. You know what the Easter egg roll is that they do at the White House? Is Andrew?
Yes, I do.
All right, there's a picture of him at the Easter egg roll. It was really nice. You can see the Easter bunny there and all the kids. So this is the speech he gave, a clip of the speech he gave at the Easter egg roll. And this was the easiest clip to find. It was not the most gruesome. It was just the easiest to find.
And I don't think it gets much more hostile than Iran. They're capable fighters. They're very tough people. And there are others like that. You don't mind when the enemy is weak, but that enemy is strong. Not so strong like they were about a month ago, I can tell you. In fact, right now, they're not too strong at all, in my opinion, but we're soon going to find out, aren't we?
That's what he said to the kids.
That is creepy as...
It's dementia.
I mean, you've already said fucking this. That is... I mean, you have this creepy-ass bunny standing next to him, which is already terrifying. And then you have Trump standing next to him, and he's taller than the bunny, and I'm sure that was done on purpose. The bunny could not be, taller than Trump.
Yeah.
And then just go on Easter for the Easter egg roll to start talking about. Oh my God! I'm getting to the point where I can't even stand to listen to him talk. Like I used to make fun of his mannerisms, the way he spoke, because it was all. And now I hear that, and it's like fingers on chalkboard. It just, I can't stand the way he talks anymore.
All right. What I think we're going to do is, Brooks is available and said he can come on. So let me get set up to bring him on. I was not getting ready to have any guests tonight, but I am delighted to be able to. So,
Sweet. Our fellow content creator who also believes you should have a gun nut in your life.
Yeah. Yes. So let me. Let's see. All right, there was an intermittent pause. It's because I'm hitting buttons. All right, everyone's still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Let's see. I was on.
Hello.
Hi. All right. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button once again. I'm trying to do.
Hola.
Oh, I take it Brooks is in the back. Let me get him to the.
Yeah, get him. Yeah, get him up to the front.
Get him up to the front. Okay, let me get him in here.
You can take out the video that I sent you.
We can't send him in the back. We can't make him stay in the back of the bus.
I will put him in 5. I don't want him to take the commander's slot because then I gotta. So let me. Brooks. I can't hear Brooks yet. I will be able to hear him in a minute. We'll have him up front in a minute. So we will put him, like I said. So we got
the rest of us. The rest of us can hear you, Brooks, but he can't hear you yet because he's got you in the back.
Yep. So let's see, camera 4. We're going to put.
That's
Brooks
so if somebody hacks our system and they manage to get into the room, they can't suddenly spew on live YouTube anything. It's a safety procedure. Except for me, I'm apparently special because when I sign in, I can just start speaking, and that's why he referenced earlier. Thank you for not scaring the hell out of me by just suddenly, hey, how's it going, everybody? And you're not expecting it, and
we should have Brooks
I've done that to him a couple of times.
I don't seem to have a video, but are you there, Brooks?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. So
that sounds wonderful.
Perfect. All right. So
I'm jealous of your audio.
Yeah, it is nice.
It is. It's when you have a silky smooth voice, you got to make sure you take care of it because I have a face for radio and a voice for it, so it works out both ways.
Kafir, Brooks. I think Brooks, you've seen Kafir on before. So
hi, hello,
Kafir.
I thought I can give a short introduction of who and what I am.
Please do. Refresh our audience.
I am Kafir Lavi. I was born in Israel, grew up in Kenya. I was a combatant soldier in combat engineering in the IDF. I am currently a far leftist activist as part of Standing Together, pro-Palestine, socialism, all of that fun stuff. And I'm also a second-year archaeology student in a unspecified university in this country.
Well then, good for you.
And you were going to say something about archaeology and the BS of it, and in particular for me, just because I know that I think Israel spent like 5 years trying to confirm that the Exodus happened and wasn't able to find any evidence of it. But
that's because it didn't happen.
I almost just did the joke because you don't know me and just being like, Nick, be careful. You know how I am about these things. I care a great, I tend to land not in a drastically different spot than what you're talking about, just as a quick intro. Brooks, how you doing? I think a lot of Nick's people we share a few audience members, Nick.
Yes, we do.
I'm in the Quarantine Collective. We've been doing complex philosophy readings for almost 6 years now. And it's been a long thing. And this has been This has been a long fucking week, dude. This is just like every week is long, but it's like
it's Tuesday.
But it's like the fact that like genuinely I had a debate with I've had a debate with multiple people about whether or not nuclear weapons were on the table, and there was no one was saying no. Like everyone's like
no.
It was about the levels of it or the setup or like, well, maybe sort of. I don't know. I don't think he means it that way. And it's like, it's
I mean,
not
how about no?
Of course they were on the table. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I have no doubt. They were on the table as in he had them on the. I had no doubt he called up Heist and was like, "What's the yield of a?" He doesn't know the word yield, but he wants to know like, do we have those suitcase nukes you can just walk in?
How big of a boom?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we know that his first term, he straight up wanted to he wanted to nuke a hurricane at one point. Like,
yes, he did.
This is a thing.
Wait, that was serious?
Yes.
Is anything he's ever said serious? He said that they're looking at throwing a nuke into a hurricane to see if it stops it. And it was like, I mean, it was as serious as the having UV light from inside the body thing to kill COVID.
That injecting yourself with
bleach.
What did he say? Was it bleach or was it hand sanitizer?
It was bleach.
It was bleach.
Oh,
and what happened? And so the problem is he thinks he's a genius. So when he comes up with these ideas, he assumes that nobody's thought of them, which actually he tends to be right, but for the wrong reasons. And he had, what's his name, the head of the CDC right to his right, and he turned to him, Fauci, and said, we should look into that. Has someone looked into that? And Fauci's just like, so that's what he said about the injecting bleach. And I think 32 people in New York had to be hospitalized for attempting to do it.
Yeah. Well, and this is where you start getting into I had this conversation. I don't know. You're Israeli, so Kfir, so you'll be able to tell me if I'm wrong. There's this really weird reality we're now in where I think only anti-Zionists actually care about Israel surviving the next 5 years.
I wish you were incorrect, but I actually have these chats very frequent with a friend from my university who himself, he is an older gentleman. He himself is also quite knowledgeable about these things. And as someone who studies archaeology and history, I don't know how many more years I give this country in the current place it's going. Usually when countries get this warmongery, they don't last very long.
No, especially when they're not an empire, but they're pretending like they're playing one on TV, quite literally. Like that's an
very
whole joke.
Much so. But
it's so
the
weird.
land is small. There aren't a lot of resources here. The government itself is not as stable as they want you to think they are. In fact, our government is so remarkably unstable that they have to keep up the forever wars or they fall apart. The last time there was a break in between the wars, they almost fell apart because one of the ministers left.
Well, I mean, and the great irony is there's another country that, needed to keep wars going in order to maintain their economic situation of having a single despot at the top. And they otherized an entire racial group of people in order to do that and started attacking people in their region and started annexing. It
sounds like you're almost talking about, hey, now, wait. I see what you did there.
Earlier on, I did mention World War I as a big allegory for what's happening now because of the whole Christmas Passover thing. But no, there are a startling amount of similarities between where Israel is going and where Nazi Germany went.
Well, and I have to ask, so just because I have friends in Israel, but I don't often get to talk to people I don't know, and I'm always curious. Israel bombed a fucking synagogue on Passover, and I mentally have trouble even understanding that exists. But from what I've seen, there are cheers, and that fucks with me in a really weird way.
I don't think it was reported.
Interesting.
I don't think it was reported in mass media. I do not remember reporting about a synagogue being hit.
It was a do you mean in Tehran they hit a mosque?
Oh yeah, no, that would have never. Do you mean a mosque?
No,
it was a synagogue in. Oh wow, that I remember. There was I think it said synagogue, and my brain replaced the word mosque because I was like, they must be talking about. I think you're right.
I think it was just straight up not reported.
Just because it's synagogue in Tehran. This is today Al Jazeera, who I tend to trust on these things, and also there's
so for the
most Hasidic looking people I've ever seen walking around this thing. It's one of the most surreal videos.
I only found this out today. Al Jazeera is no longer blocked in Israel. It used to be blocked.
Well, with this synagogue, I'll send you a link to it too, and see if you can open the link.
I'm looking in major Israel news sites. I'm not seeing a mention of it currently in News 12. I'm checking Haaretz. They don't have the best search platforms, so I'm trying to search.
I blame
but
CERN.
I think it was just not reported about. Let's see.
You can see why if Al Jazeera is reporting it, I can see why they don't want.
There's some talks. No, the last thing I have is from the 15th of March. And that's about
Al Jazeera,
a synagogue in Michigan.
Judaism is one of Iran's legally recognized minority religions. The country has a small Jewish community, although members fled in the aftermath of the 1979 Islamic Revolution. And the synagogue. I'm not going to bother with it because we've all seen war photos. But the synagogue's gone; it's been obliterated. So Kafir, it's in your DMs.
Very obliterated. And again, it's one of the more surreal things. Looking at Iranian state media, and I know it's all bullshit, but there's something very surreal about watching these 5 or 6 the most Orthodox Hasidic guy, the full get up, everything, walking around the site, and then a news team talking to him, and it's just it just so fucks with my head, and I'm just on again, this isn't it was Tuesday, it's Passover. It's
yeah, I'm looking now. I searched it up in Hebrew. I see reports from I see a report in Hebrew from MSN, which is not an Israeli outlet, and from other very non-major outlets. It was just there's one on Ynet. Yeah, no, the only major news source I can find that's reporting about that is it's fucking Ynet, and that's basically just Jewish BuzzFeed.
Yeah,
so people
fringe crap. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically just completely unreported about in Israeli media.
Somebody in the live chat. Real quick. Somebody in the live chat said, "Did Israel mistake it for a school?" Sorry,
But yeah, look, Israel does not care about Jewish people. I think I've said this to people twice in the past 24 hours. People focus so much on the horrors that happen in Palestine that they sort of completely miss how Bedouin Arabs are basically second-class citizens in Israel and are treated just genuinely horrendously. There is so much I can say about the treatment of Bedouin Arabs, and B, about how much Jews suffer under the Israeli administration.
Mm-hmm.
Both Jews that are from non-major denominations. The most major denomination of Judaism is, of course, Orthodox Ashkenazi Judaism. Reformist Jews, secular Jews, Ethiopian Jews all get heavily discriminated against.
Oh, Christ. The Ethiopian Jews, the stories are horrifying.
Oh, yeah, and they just get worse. So the deeper you get into it, it just gets worse. I remember a couple of years ago, a synagogue in Haifa was firebombed for not being Jewish enough.
Jesus.
It's the situation here is bad. It is not a heaven for Jews, unless you're a really religious Orthodox Ashkenazi Jew who lives in Bnei Brak.
Well, and this is one of those things, though. Again, how, especially in America, I know, but probably everywhere, how people are taught like Nazi Germany existed is that like they really cared about Germans, which is insane.
They didn't. It's
an insane idea. They were horrifying internally.
Like I just told this to Nick. There have been non-stop eulogies of children, 18 to 22-year-old children that were sent to die in Lebanon for Bibi's self-masturbatory bullshit.
Yes.
It is genuinely horrifying for me.
Well, and if Bibi gets stuck in this situation, it'd probably do the same thing. The other thing when, because Bibi has talked on occasion, although it's been a while, he had talked about what it meant to have Jewish ancestry and to really support the Israeli state. In the last weeks of the war, when Hitler realized that there was no winning, he decided that the reason they failed obviously wasn't his fault. It was because the Germans betrayed him. So he actually sought to cause as much damage as possible and to let the whole system collapse. And German just like, okay, guys, you guys go do whatever you want. You want to keep fighting, fight. You want to surrender, just go. And he would even. It would just turn into absolute chaos and destruction of Germany.
How do I say it? The big problem is that while on the outside, the Israeli government looks like a very Trump-like existence where we just have like this one central hyper-charismatic despot. That's not how it is. The power is kind of spread across 2, 3, maximum 4 very far-right Zionist parties. There's Smotrich, there's Ben Gvir, who, like I said, quit the government and because of that managed to get a very big tailwind behind him. There's Bibi, and there's also the far-right Orthodox Party. I don't remember the name of their leader, but basically, if you cut off the head of this Hydra, you just get a even more extremist one instead. That's sort of the situation we've found ourselves in.
Well, that's what you suggested.
I still get political ads from Bennett, who was prime minister for like 2 years intermittently, and was probably one of the worst we've had in decades. And himself is also a far-right extremist. Like, there's just sort of no winning here.
And that's one of the reasons the far-right party is willing to align with Netanyahu, is because they know eventually when he goes out, if they've stayed close enough to him, they'll be able to pick his successor.
Yeah, they'll basically be able to absorb the following he got. They'll basically be able to absorb the following of the Likud. The Likud is the big party it's the most major party we have. We have a lot of parties in Israel, a lot of political parties. The Likud is the big one that Bibi is leading. The second biggest one right now is called Otzma Yehudit. It literally means Jewish power or Jewish strength. And that's the one that Ben Gvir is leading. And yeah, I can't see Bibi winning another election, but the problem is that there's no any sort of like left-leaning figurehead. There used to be I think, I don't remember his name. He was Barak. He was the son of another very famous Jewish politician. He was a complete and utter flop as a figurehead for the left. Currently, the left just has no figurehead, and the right has an excess of them.
AP, just real quick, AP is reporting that Iran is going to be able to charge for Strait of Hormuz passage as part of the deal.
Yeah.
Yep, we've had reports on that too.
But it's AP's finally saying it that like the Pakistan's announced it. That's part of the deal.
Yeah. So Pakistan's acknowledged. Yeah, because some of the deal. It turns out some of what was in the original Farsi may not have been translated into the English version.
I wonder why.
What the fuck is the deal then? How did this is I don't want to say it's kind of funny, but I mean, what the fuck? So nothing.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I just closed the deal out. Let me bring it back up again.
I know the deal.
Okay.
I'm just like every single thing. I keep assuming. Again, I have this problem of thinking that the world operates in some rational, knowable way, and I shouldn't, because I don't believe it really, but I like to pretend I do. And it's like, so Trump said, "Hey, we already agreed to 2 weeks," but they hadn't. They'd never talked to him. The Iran went, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's do that." And then like nothing changes, and then they also more bombing happened, and then like it's cool.
Well,
that's where we are.
We've
a bunch of oil shorts. Don't forget those. There's a ton of shorts on oil that went out after the announcement. That's not a joke, by the way. 52 million, I think, one person found in one account. There's a bunch of others.
Well, 52 shorts. You wouldn't short it. You'd go long.
$52 million in shorts. Why would you go long?
Shorts assume. No, shorts assume that the price is going to fall. Sorry, I'm getting tired.
And the price did fall precipitously.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, because you have to buy it the next day to make up for the position. So shorts. I don't know why I had a brain fart there. The other point is that the Iranian military now gets to control the Strait. And that's been agreed to. So it's like
now gets to. What were they doing yesterday?
Well, as opposed to before the war, where it was considered international waters.
Oh, so
now it's Iranian territory.
We've ceded that it's Iranian.
We've ceded territory. A thing they didn't have.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That's awesome.
We're winning. We're winning. Everybody, this is what winning looks like.
Like, again, as far as the Israeli government is concerned, we killed a lot of very important people on the Iranian side, so this is a total win.
I can see how they can, and Trump got ready to taco, I think it was yesterday or this morning when he said, we've completed complete regime change, so as long as the new regime is competent, then we don't have to destroy the entire civilization. It's like...
It's always a regime change, it's hereditary. It's
the guy's name is the same, you don't even have to update Leader Khomeini, you don't have to change the paperwork.
The Wikipedia page doesn't really change.
Nothing changes.
Nothing ever happens, I guess.
Oh my God.
It's fucking with me because it's like, and this is the worst part of it is, again, this is like the Maduro thing. And I think when we started the Iran war, Nick, I think I came on, we were talking, and I was like, I think the worst outcome of this is if nothing really happens, because a bunch of people have died. Like, do not get it wrong. There's an extraordinary amount of death and destruction and a complete, like, I don't know, unsettling of any semblance of what was even an understanding of the hegemony that existed in the Arabian and Persian areas. But like, at what point is the worst outcome where we don't have at least something we can fight against? Because he stopped. And that's it. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I hope I was making sense. Sorry, it's just been
If
weird.
I can take a moment, someone in chat said driving Jews to Israel has been part of the state plan since Herzl, circa 1895. More experienced after Palestine, making Jews unsafe outside of Israel as part of the Zionist political movement. That is very much a big part of the strategy of Israel currently. One of the things that I said is that Israel has conflated Israeli, Jewish, Zionist, all of those words together as just the exact same thing. Yes. If I say that I am anti-Israel or anti-Zionist, despite being Jewish, I will be taken to be anti-Semitic. And part of that is also making Jews unsafe outside of Israel, so they think Israel is more necessary than it truly is. There are so many problems with a country that has it ingrained in its constitution that one specific religion should be protected, and that is that this just one specific religion should be protected and given more concessions. But part of the issues is that Israel just makes the world less safe for Jews outside of it by that conflation, and by that makes itself seem more necessary. No one will ever speak out against Israel on a very major scale for fear of being just compared to Nazis, despite what Israel is doing. That's why Germany will never. That's why Germany will never truly go against what Israel is doing.
Well, and I will say this: the other side is the brilliance of it is the wrong stance. Kind of always is to be against a country, kind of no matter what. It's you can be against parts of a country or whatever it is. Like I think absolutely should have egalitarian care under law, but the idea that like Israel needs to be destroyed, it conflates all of those things in one big basket, and it puts people who are having real critique in a place of, no, I'm not like
no, that's a very genuine issue. That's a very genuine issue. And the moment that you critique one part of it, you are just taken to be completely anti-Israeli, anti-Semitic, and a Nazi, which is what the Netanyahu government wants to happen.
And Trump and all of his idiots.
Yeah, if I can get on the soapbox for a moment, just to mention this. In the world of archaeology, we've also been having a lot of political issues. There's been a legislation floating around for a good few years now that will... basically, there's a legislation that decides what the Israeli Antiquities Authority is allowed to do. And they are, and there's been a proposed amendment to change the language from within the country / within the borders to within the area. The definition being both the ability to excavate within B and A areas in which the antiquities in the West Bank. Wait, should I explain how the West Bank functions?
Yes, I think you should.
So the West Bank is functionally split into 3 types of areas. Area A, which is only Palestinians and no Israelis. Area B, which is mostly highways, and both Palestinians and Israelis are allowed. And Area C, which is only Israelis and no Palestinians, such as the major city of Ariel or many colonial squatter settlements, like Kiryat Arba is another example. And this will allow the Antiquities Authority to dig in B and A areas, basically use the presence of some synagogue or some archaeological thing to run people out of their homes, to put up a archaeological excavation, basically using the excavation as a tool of the settlement and of the domination. And there is another very worrying part of this legislation that will allow Israel to also excavate in international lands like Lebanon, Jordan, or Egypt, because again, it just says in the area. And the area is very nebulous. And there were talks, I wasn't there, but a lot of people, a lot of activists that I am connected to have been in these meetings, have sat on these meetings of the Education Committee. It's because for some reason the Antiquities Authority is under the Education Committee, in which they have talked about excavations as far as Jordan and Lebanon. So yes, archaeology is being used as a blatant tool of the settlement and of apartheid. That's actually a very major problem in Jerusalem, in which a major part of the Palestinian quarter of Jerusalem has very major excavations going on in it for very long stretches of time. A lot of controversy with the David City, which has kicked a lot of people out of their houses, or has even dug under the houses and compromised foundations. And yeah, that's just a small bit of what we've been dealing with in the world of archaeology.
I already knew about the just displacing Palestinians for safety. You need to go this far, and then taking the homes and then doing it. Now they can use they're weaponizing archaeology.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. Thankfully, my friends, my archaeologist friends, we have done a lot to try and block this, and we have managed to delay this amendment again. We've been doing it for a good few years now. They keep like trying to repropose it. But the language itself is just completely illegal from an international standpoint. Like, it just completely flaunts international law.
Well, yeah, especially if you go into Egypt and you're displacing people from their homes. So what I'm going to do, we're going to need to wrap this up. So I'd love to have some first, tell us who you are, where you're from, and then any final thoughts on the very long week. I'll start with Brooks.
I don't want anything to happen, but I'm also really fucked up over nothing happening, like more so. Yeah. My big worry is that there's just an extraordinary number of rumors. I have a piece coming out Friday that's talking about how we live in a very different time of information gathering for a few of us who are older, and by older I mean 35 plus. I know it's Nick. You're only 39, so you don't quite make it. Young man, you are.
Thank you.
But the weird world of I used to remember I'd turn on the TV and I'd generally be able to trust the thing I saw. And now wherever I'm at, I'll watch a video and it's like, oh, there's a bombing happening here. Nope, probably not. Literally, we can't trust anything we see. And now the states of both Iran, also Israel and the US, I can't trust anything that they say. There's a loss of authority over the last 2 months that I think has been coalescing into something like this, that this moment puts us in a spot where both sides are claiming victory. Both sides are claiming completely unrelated things in terms of what wins and what doesn't. As far as I know, there are still missiles being shot out of Iran towards Israel. Israel's still doing shit in Lebanon. There are still explosions happening. So what then is the thing for us to consider? What then is the thing for us to rally against? And is it possible anymore?
It's probably going to be possible, but it's going to require the younger generation who comes up with a new paradigm. The AI is one of the big problems in that too, because you had pointed this out last time you were here, and I thought this was interesting, which is AI has sort of flipped it on its head, where now the technology is so good, instead of the internet being able to bring truth to everybody, you now can't trust anything you see. Information's been destroyed by how good the technology has gotten. It's going to be for someone else to solve,
and how easy it is to do things. Because we've laughed and smiled and been so happy about the democratization of information and production. Once upon a time, a person to stream like this or anything, you'd have to have an entire news station. To travel worldwide, it was one of 9 different ways to do it, and it was incredibly expensive. And that cost meant that the oligarchs and people controlling things were the only ones allowed to, but it also meant there was a roadblock, a natural speed bump. And with that gone, it means that a bunch of people who live in any country in the world can pretend they live anywhere else and basically create all the video that they want to say anything they want. And it just is the end of it.
I will take a moment here. 9 minutes ago, Netanyahu finally gave his first announcement, his first words about the agreement. He said it does not include Lebanon.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the point.
We've had it does include Lebanon mentioned in this exact same news outlet several times. Netanyahu has said it does not include Lebanon because the Netanyahu is insane.
It has to. Yeah.
He needs his forever war, or else his government will fall apart. I hope very much so that this will signal the starting dredges of the end of the forever war that we have been stuck in since the 8th of October. Israel has been stuck in a state of constant conflict since the 8th of October with Lebanon, Iran, Gaza, wherever Bibi and his attack dogs can point at next to send very unfortunate children who have no idea what the fuck they're getting into and have been brainwashed by propaganda. And this is the reality that we have to deal with. I will sign off with what I once told a rabbi when I was arguing with him about the stuff that was going on in Gaza after the 8th of October. We cannot let ourselves surrender to the status quo. We can always fight back. That is why I go to protests. That is why I hang banners off of derelict buildings. That is why my movement has and will keep trying to get supply trucks into Gaza. Because just because the status quo is bad doesn't mean we get to stop fighting. Stonewall didn't happen from nothing. There was a history of protests and riots and demonstrations long before it. And we will keep protesting and demonstrating long after today for a hopefully far better tomorrow. Israel is not a monolith. We have many people who are very supportive of Palestinians and very anti-war and do want a better, more egalitarian place. And I hope that that is the voice that will become dominant in the following years.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I'm really glad that you were available and came on. Xandring, any final thoughts before we go?
Oh, he left the Zoom call.
Oh, all right. So he's gone. What we're going to do...
The only thing I'd ask real quick, just when you have Commander on, I would really love if you could pick his brain as to the way CENTCOM apparently operated and the stories going on there. I was really looking forward to picking his brain about that, because this is a weird day for that, and there's a lot of stories going around about how that went.
Send me a DM reminding me, otherwise I will forget because there's so much going on. Now, we are going to, I did try to reach Commander for the show, was not able to. Obviously, especially with, I mean, Bibi knows that Lebanon's included. He's just not going to recognize the inclusion of it. There was an article that said, you know, when there's a partner in something, two people, two groups, in this case, two countries, the U.S. and Israel, if the senior partner says there's a deal, there's basically a deal. The junior partner doesn't have a lot of control over it and is wise to just say, yes, there's a deal. So we were expecting yes with Netanyahu. I was always curious about the Lebanon part because he personally, almost as a human being, can't say yes to that, because if he does, he's maybe done and he's going to prison. So he's got a whole history as to why he kind of wants to keep that going. We'll have
the first time we've sent a prime minister to prison.
Yeah. And hopefully. I'm sorry. What?
You, Dexter. Stay right here, bud. Sorry, Nick. I'll see you later.
Okay. So we're going to get Commander on, because my suspicion is Lebanon absolutely will be a deal breaker for Tehran. And the fact is Trump accepted very favorable terms in this deal for them. And it's because he wants out. He needs out more than they do. So they will not accept it if Lebanon is not included. And I don't think Bibi can include it. So we will, he can, you understand what I'm saying. So we'll see what happens. We will hopefully have a show with Commander on tomorrow. If not, our next scheduled program right now is Downtime with Commander, 9 p.m. Eastern. But obviously this is still a very fluid situation. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Ken Vet, for your good deed of the day and giving us the gift membership. We appreciate it. Thank you, Kafir. Thank you, Brooks. Thank you, Xandering. And thank you to all the mods, and we will see you all probably tomorrow. The Discord, we always notify people on the Discord, so check on the Discord if you aren't there yet, and you get your notifications if you're not getting them through YouTube. And otherwise, we'll see you Thursday at 9 p.m. Have a good night.
You too. Good night.